everyone, my name is Matt Villegas. I am a student physical therapist entering my third and final year of physical therapy school in the Las Vegas area at Torrey University, Nevada, and really excited to finally start clinical rotations at a private practice in Las Vegas. But for today's vlog, I want to talk about Paul Gough, one of the most well-known international physiotherapists from the UK, and his business growth school online course, and just how mind-boggling that was, the whole entire experience, not just the class, the modules, and all the material, and just how well he communicates, and just seeing how he's impacted people, especially people that I already knew. And this whole point that I keep trying to reiterate of how understanding the business side of healthcare matters so much for the field of healthcare, for the field of physical therapy, in order to actually be able to treat patients and give our all. So for that course, I took it maybe like back in January or so, and there were a lot of drivers for why I wanted to do it. Really, for me, was I was already leaning, as you can tell with my blog post, that I already had an inkling that I wanted to do something more, because I was taking a course called Smart Success PT with Greg Todd. And I just felt like that was not enough for me per se, that like the content there alone was great, but I really just needed to hear and see like what are the real issues that people are facing in the world of physical therapy with private practices, just those interactions with patients, because physical therapy is something I had known about for a long time, since birth, just with my story about being born with right brachial plexus nerve damage, and how for the longest time, even honestly, even now going through physical therapy school, like I still feel like there's so many questions that need to be answered. It's great that the questions keep changing, but with Paul Gough's business growth school, he didn't endorse me to do this in any way, shape, or form. I'm just doing this to share my experience, so that even people who are physical therapy students or pre-physical therapy students who have that inkling towards wanting to do have their own private practice in the future and see patients and do provide healthcare in a model of our own choosing, as opposed to the system with insurance that isn't working in its current state and form. Paul Gough's material just goes way above and beyond, and fortunately he does do free webinars to give a glance of the overview of what the course entails. He has several courses, but for Business Growth School, it really does encompass the whole package, the whole package of hiring, firing, that patient journey, working hard to get those leads instead of having to go to doctors, physicians to ask for patient referrals, having a much steadier stream of patients coming in, really understanding language. That's just key. Like if you just listen to Paul Gough alone with his podcast, like you would understand that he is very well trained on how to communicate, how to say things and make a point, but still challenge these notions that we get. And I'm gonna be honest, like even with me, even though like I have my own principles, morals and whatnot, that like just being under the rock of going through physical therapy school, that this business aspect, this business side that's so necessary for the vitality of a private practice, like this is not covered in physical therapy school. And if we're going to argue about, debate about who comes out better in the healthcare profession, like knowing how to open up a private practice and actually being encouraged to do it, honestly, not bashing on them, but like chiropractors, in my opinion, are much better at opening up private practices than physical therapists are. And that's sad, to be honest, because physical therapy is a good profession. You know, both professions are good in treating patients and helping patients get better, but it's unfortunate if any role within healthcare is not able to do its job. And if any one aspect of healthcare doesn't do its job, then the whole system is not doing well. And that's a really good point that Paul goes super deep on, just systems and how to set things up properly so that the right tests and right procedures are automated and things that you don't have to think about, so that you're freed up to do the things that really matter. And in Paul Gough's case, he's from the UK, but he's able to travel internationally and give these talks about the business growth school aspects, and going even more in depth with private practice owners and mastermind groups about what are the issues that people are facing. And for his secret Facebook group, the one experience that was just really memorable for me is how, like, me sharing a YouTube video that I share quite often about my origin, my why, for why I wanted to get into the field of physical therapy. Having that be well received with these individuals who, in my opinion, really are the top PTs because of how solid they are with focusing on what is important and setting things up properly so that they are actually getting patients better. Like, hearing the feedback from them and getting compliments was really touching for me, because in everyone else's eyes, it's like I'm just a student. And then having this sort of like mindset change with what really matters, what is important, and how I sort of had an inkling just from watching his webinar, trying to gather his free reports, like these little PDF booklets, and just see what's up, and like, why is this guy so popular, and why do people rave about him so much. Just with Paul, it's really being solid overall, and that includes being a person, because with the PT profession, physical therapy, it's not just a 9-to-5 job anymore. It's a 24/7 world, and the healthcare profession has to adapt to that. Even though we do have our barriers, and some rightly so, for protecting patient privacy and just having decency, that we still need to fine-tune our communication and get with the times in learning how to properly use technology, especially the web, social media, platforms like this, to communicate messages and helping people in the real world make appropriate decisions regarding their health care, especially if it falls within the scope of physical therapy, but just really getting the message out there so that I'm not the crazy person for knowing about physical therapy all my life because I was born with an injury, that more people could actually know what physical therapy is, and not just when a relative is in the hospital or have a car accident or what have you. But that whole aspect of, we need to get out of this mindset of, as physical therapists, of trying to knock on a doctor's, on a physician's door and handing them lunch and trying to get patient referrals that way, that we really need to take it upon ourselves, really understand how to fine-tune the language and communicate properly in order to attract the right people to our own private practices and clinics. So I'm going to leave it at there, because there's just so much I could say about that, especially about, I'll mention briefly about the other gentleman who helped with developing the modules for the business growth school, Andrew Verston, who is in Southern California in Orange County, and he's known as the numbers guy. Numbers really do matter, metrics for this point, especially if you want to automate your clinic and be able to travel and still have your clinic be running just fine. Like, knowing the numbers is super key. And for me as a DPT student, to have these tools and these spreadsheets is just mind-boggling. And then for Jerry Durham, with understanding the patient journey, understanding when you pick up that phone and there's a patient on the other side, a person, what journey have they undergone, and really knowing how to talk to that person. And for me, to have these scripts that are just so key for honing in on the points that matter, it's just this huge whirlwind. And it's really not for everyone. It is extremely high caliber. The people in there are amazing. Like, all of them, I can't say enough. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to message me or ask me about that. And I'll definitely get back to you as far as when the course will open up for Business Growth School. I'm pretty sure it's once a year, and I took it early in like January, February. So I'll definitely get back next year and update my level up page in regards to like when that'll open. But I hope this helps, especially if you're a physical therapist and opening up your own private practice. Even if you're a chiropractor, there actually are chiropractors who have taken this course to learn about the systems and how to communicate better for implementing into their own practices. So it's really pretty much open to anyone, and everyone in there is very supportive and very on it. That I can't emphasize enough. So if that's something you're looking forward to, definitely it's worthwhile to check out. All right, peace. Thank you very much for tuning in, and next week, I'll talk a little bit more about that marketing aspect and what exactly it means in terms of harnessing the power of technology nowadays to get your message out. All right, adios, and